Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. We've got an unboxing video. This was one of those, I was on eBay looking for something, I forget what it was. CalMag I think it was. Whatever, anyway I thought, oh, I'll have a quick look at the orchids and see what's about. And then I started looking and I thought, I haven't bought anything for a while. And one of these is a total replacement, an actual replacement for one that I had a long time ago that went downhill. It got eaten by scale basically really badly, and it just would not recover, and in the end, in the night of the long knives, it got chucked out. So that's a replacement. I always thought if I ever saw a reasonable one I'd get it again. Another one is a partial replacement on the grounds that I had a set of dendrobiums that I nearly lost last year, and I always said if I see some reasonable ones I'll start getting some replacements. So this isn't one I have actually had before, but it's very close. And the other one is probably what you'd class as a silly purchase because it probably won't grow very well. Anyway, let's get them out, see what we got. Now it says this way up, but at the end of the day the box opens from this way, so this is the way it's getting opened. If there's any media in the box loose, then so be it. Now I'm getting to the point where I had a favourite eBay seller that I've used many times over many years, but my recent purchase included that Renanthera vanda cross that had rot in the crown and lost its growing point, which has sort of put me on edge. However, I don't think I've ever had a really bad plant from this seller. This is a UK seller, and I ordered these plants on Wednesday the 8th of July. Expected delivery Monday or Tuesday next week. Actual delivery this morning, quite early, on Friday the 10th. Don't get any better than that, does it? Whoops, paperwork with my address on, we don't want that. And as usual, a card. But I just seem to get good plants from that seller. Reliable, you know, when they've got something I want, which is not all the time obviously. Anyway, let's see what we got. I'm not going to screw this paper up too much because this might be a suitable box to post off some of the plants I've got to get posted off soon. And likewise with the bubble wrap. As I say, I've got to wrap some plants up and send them off soon. So we have blooms in here hiding. Oh boy. I think we'll class this as a good one. This is a replacement for a failed plant. I think Martin's going to be over. Oh my. This is a lions and tigers and bears moment, because when I was looking at the pictures I thought, oh, that's got a nice strong new growth on. Oh goody. So providing it's got a reasonable root system, we'll do okay with that one. Those were my thoughts. And now that the plant's arrived, we won't talk about the new growth, we'll talk about the 4 new growths, which is exceptional. For this type of plant, that's pretty good going. Right, so Martin, what we've got is a replacement for Roseoglossum Rawdon Jester. I will see if I can get hold of a picture off the internet. These Roseoglossums are a bit like Odontoglossums, except for they tend to be incredibly bright colours, yellows and oranges and reds, rather than the more pink and white and red spotty type things that a lot of the Odontoglossums are. So these are deep, rich colours, and the blooms on this, you don't tend to get loads on a spike, you know, 2, 3, 4, something like that. They're about 5 inches across. They're absolutely enormous. And I've got 4 new growths here, 2 pushing together here and 2 coming on behind, staggered. So this plant has been grown on from a very small plant. So it's not a division, it's been grown on. I'm just checking to see if I can see any old bloom spikes. I don't think there are any. So this set of new growths may well be its first blooming, if it does. But it's going to turn it into a very strong plant, having 4 new growths like that. It's in that cocoa media. I don't know whether it will lift out gently. We will always try. I even do this in front of the sellers at shows. They don't like it. Well, it can go wrong and you can get all the media fall out and then you can't get it back in the pot. But under normal circumstances, if they're gently teased away from the edge, they will just lift out intact with the media. I don't need to go any further than that. I've got a good root system. That's a healthy white root system with growing tips. It's in that cocoa media stuff, so I'll have to watch my watering, and I'll need to check carefully, have all the new roots already come out from those new growths, or have they yet to start? Because if the new roots have already progressed down into the pot, I might have to leave it in there for a while until I get some more new ones, or I take a risk. But the roots are wrapping around the top of the pot and right down in the pot. So that's that one. Has it got a tag on it? Oh, it fell out. So Roseoglossum Rawdon Jester. Total replacement, that one. Put that to one side. And then this one is a semi-replacement because it's a type of orchid I like a lot. Took a long time getting some in and then completely ruined them between last year, heat wave, and too cold in the winter in wet pots. So we ruined it. I did that myself, you know, it's not the plant's fault. And I now know I can grow these, having discovered the hard way what goes wrong with these. So it's a Latoria type. And I'm not sure whether I've had this one before or not. What I have got in my notes is one called Nora Tokunaga. This is Roy Tokunaga. Blooms very similar. I'm sure it would have one of the same parents in it. This is the sort of pot here. I'd better leave it alone, hadn't I? We've got a reasonable root system here. And we have got a nice plant. It's a nice healthy looking plant. The canes are good. What have we got? We've got 3 younger canes here, all with good leaves, nice and healthy. And then we've got one that pushed on that's had its leaf chopped. So it must have had something wrong with that leaf at some point or another. And then we've got what is probably the latest growth, which is larger than the others and perfectly capable of blooming. So, you know, when you're replacing stuff like this, if it'll come down, when you're replacing stuff that's gone wrong like that, that is a good plant. So you can see why I am after some more Latorias to replace the ones that I've ended up with, which I'm not even sure why I'm even keeping. So that's not going to stand up on its own, that's going to need something to stand in. You go in a clay pot. Just for now. So yeah, that's a nice Latoria type. Again, if I can grab hold of some pictures, I'll get one up. And now we get on to the silly one. This is called a silly purchase on the grounds that I did say I'm not getting any more of these types of orchids because they don't do very well for me. So we've got a Masdevallia. It's just a no ID hybrid. Didn't cost a lot of money and it's in bloom and it's got more buds to come. Looks like quite a nice healthy plant actually, as long as it's got a root system. Some starting to go, but yeah, there's more buds to come. There's one just about to open here, one just opening here, and 2 forming, and another one down there. So it's a mass of blooms, this one. And some of the Masdevallia hybrids are just like that. They just chuck out so many blooms. Some of the species are not so easy, and often very small as well. Delicate, but you know, small. But that's got a gorgeous colour. It's a bright orange basically, and for me that's a nice shape. I'm not too keen on what I call the tunnel ones, you know, that are like a long tunnel that just about open up at the end, and the detail's so deep inside you can't see it very well. So this is just a nice bright orange medium-sized Masdevallia hybrid. We will see if we can, with a flipping good root system. No worries about that, no worries. And when you see good solid moss growing on a pot, one thing you can say is it's been in there a while. Yeah? It might mean the media's getting a bit acidic, which for a Masdevallia is not the end of the world, because they do like very slightly acidic, but not going over. But nonetheless, a nice plant, nice blooms, nice splash of orange around when we haven't got much in bloom at the moment, as we found out in everything in bloom on the 8th. So we've got some nice new sticks and a box and some wrapping materials, which is just the job for somebody who's got some orchids to send out in the not too distant future. Actually, this box is a little bit flimsy. Oh, there's my tag for the Roy Tokunaga. Yeah, as I say, I've got Nora Tokunaga somewhere without a tag, and it's probably not even got any leaves on it. It's in such a bad state. I think it might be. Oh, it's not worth guessing. If it ever comes back into bloom, I'll find out which one it is. I doubt it though. I'm getting to the point where those recovering Latoria types are beginning to get to the point where I'm thinking, why am I bothering? Why don't I just dump them and wait to get some replacements? In the main, they don't come up as really expensive plants. You can buy a reasonable sized plant that's blooming size at a reasonable price. And you know what I'm like, recovering plants are given an amount of time, but it's not an endless period. We do get fed up. So yeah, I'm pleased with those three, very pleased. Thanks, Susanna. And you can't ask for better delivery than that. Ordered on Wednesday and arrived Friday morning. Early morning, like not sort of 11, 12 o'clock. I think it was about 20 past, 9:30, something like that. So early in the day on Friday. So that's less than 2 days to arrive. Good stuff. And bearing in mind they were ordered on Wednesday, they had to be packaged, So yeah, it's a nice plant. I can't see a mark on a leaf. Every single leaf on there looks good. Mind you, some have been trimmed off. You think I don't notice things like that, don't you? So some leaves have been taken off, so there was probably something wrong with them to make it look good. But we all do that, that's not a big deal. Then we've got the Latoria one that may well bloom on this latest cane. No sign of new growths at the moment, but we'll work on that obviously. And then the Rawdon Jester, I don't think I've seen one of these growing as well as that. 4 really solid new growths like that. These do tend to get rather enormous pseudo bulbs, the mature ones. They are pretty big and very flat. Let's see if I can get one on in shot. If you look at they're very flat, so they're quite wide, so they look substantial, but then when you turn the plant sideways and you look at them on edge, they're very narrow. And 2 or 3 strong leaves straight out the top. Yeah, don't tend to have anything down the sides, they just have the leaves straight out the top. Subtly different, if you think about it. Most of the odontoglossums are typical oncidium types and have their leaves from the top and some down the sides down to the base, and the flower spikes come out from between 1 or 2 of those leaves. Shh! Noisy fans. Well, they're not that noisy, but they are when you're filming. So that's 3 nice new plants. Not a fortune. The Latoria and the Rawdon Jester were just over 20 quid or around that, and the Vanda, it's because it's orange. The Masdevallia I think was about 13 something, so not expensive plants. And I'm not spending a lot on plants at the moment. There's no shows to go to, so I'm not spending money on the transport and the food and all that sort of stuff on the shows that I would normally be doing. So getting a few plants now and again is just nice. You might be in for a treat. Sarah's just posted that Burnham's is opening to the public next week. So the nursery is open along with Cafe Vanilla with those gorgeous cakes. And I am, because I've been so confined with nowhere to go and nothing to do because I can't. I mean, I can go out for a walk and stuff like that, but you know, it's just being on my own all this time. I am seriously thinking of doing a bomb down to Burnham's next week one day. But I'll add it onto this video. I'm going to try and do a deal with Sarah via email. I don't know, the trouble is she's busy obviously trying to get the nursery ready for opening to the public, but also with all the mail orders, which have dramatically increased, obviously. But Houston, we have a problem, and yet again that I ventured away to a buyer on eBay, and as soon as you venture away from the ones you know, you get a hassle. Behold my Victoria Regina. Not. I am just so annoyed because that's twice now that's happened to me, and I might even send a picture to Sarah. I'm going to get on my bended knees and beg. I'm going to say, you know, I'll come and visit you, I'll indulge in your goodies in the cafe, I'll probably buy several orchids, but I want a deal. I'll come to you and visit, film, publicise your nursery, all that sort of stuff, but I want a chunk of one of your Victoria Reginas, so that I know it's the real thing. Because this is twice this has happened now. That's pink. It's not the real thing. Plus it's probably got far too many buds. So it's a hybrid. And that's twice I've been sold a dud. This individual seller is now going to get a mouthful via eBay Messenger so that it's recorded. And I'm just going to basically say, what are you prepared to do about that? Because I'm far from happy, and depending on what you decide to do about it, I will take it straight to eBay. Because you've sold me something under false pretenses. You showed the picture of what you were selling and you gave it a name, and that is not what this is. You know, if you order a kettle, you don't expect to get a toaster, do you? So that, I'm cross with that. Nonetheless, it's actually it's not a bad plant. It's not brilliant, but it's not what it's meant to be. So I'll have to work on that now. That's twice. The last one that happened, what time that happened, I was so annoyed, I gave the plant away. There and then, almost. Because I was just so annoyed that it wasn't the real thing. And it still isn't the real thing. Very annoyed. I want a good one of those. I don't care what I pay for it. That's not important. I just want a good one. I want those blooms in this grow room. Anyway, 3 nice new plants from a reliable seller, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.